catch. Tough, right? Now catch. Much easier. So this one idea will change how you think about business. It's keep simple, but not the way you think. Fundamentally, it's about how to make a more profitable business, and doing this from the top down, from a strategy, marketing, sales, product, delivery perspective. And I want to take you through an exercise first, and then I'll talk about it afterwards. Let's imagine that I have a marketing campaign, and I want you to understand some of the benefits of my services and my product, right? So I might have 4 different benefits that I think are really, really material that I want someone to know, okay? And so the problem is the vast majority of marketing looks like this. Ready? 1, 2, 3, catch. Well, it's very hard to catch all 4 at the same time. But if I just said, hey, real quick, I want you to understand something, catch, you'd probably be able to catch that. And so it's a great visual analogy for the value of a simple message. Ken Siegel, who wrote the book Insanely Simple, talks about this when he was in his meetings with Steve Jobs, and that was an exercise that he took the marketing team through. Whenever they'd want to start saying multiple points, he knew that it would eventually devolve into every single thing under the sun that we could possibly say about this thing, which meant that we hadn't done enough strategic thinking around what is the one thing that matters most.
The point Alex just made with those crumpled papers isn't merely a clever marketing trick or a memorable classroom gimmick.
It's a live demonstration of a fundamental, unchangeable law of human cognition.
He asks what the one thing that matters most is, because our minds, in their very design, are not built to catch, process, and value multiple, disparate ideas at once.
We are single-threaded processors when it comes to deep focus and commitment. Attempting to communicate everything at once is a direct violation of this cognitive law, and the result is always the same. Nothing is truly caught, nothing truly lands, and nothing is remembered. This isn't a personal weakness to be overcome.
With more effort, it is a fundamental reality of our nature to be understood and leveraged.
The pursuit of genuine impact, therefore, begins not with the question of what you can add to your message, but with a profound and strategic respect for the immense, untapped power of a single, focused point of contact. It is the first and most
critical step in cutting through the noise that engulfs our world. Our natural inclination, however, is to do the exact opposite. We instinctively gravitate towards complexity, piling on features, benefits, and objectives as if quantity itself
were a measure of quality.
We do this because complexity, as Hormozi suggests, is the path of least intellectual resistance. It feels productive to build a fortress of bullet points or a long list of campaign promises because it gives us the powerful illusion of being thorough and diligent. In reality, it is a subtle application of the hard, strategic work required to distill 100 good ideas down to the single one that is truly exceptional.
It is easier to say yes to 10 things than to do the rigorous thinking required to say no to 9.
This tendency is a cognitive shortcut, a way to bypass the mentally taxing process of prioritization. We mistake this flurry of activity for progress, when in fact, we are just building a more elaborate and inescapable cage of our own mediocrity. But this behavior goes much deeper than simple intellectual laziness. On an emotional level, complexity serves as a powerful shield.
It is a defense mechanism we deploy to protect ourselves from the profound and visceral fear of genuine commitment.
To choose one thing, one core message, one primary feature, one defining business objective is to say a definitive no to 99 other possibilities. This act of choosing makes us vulnerable. It exposes us to the fear of being wrong, the
terror of placing a single high-stakes bet and watching it fail.
It awakens the fear of missing out, that persistent whisper that a better, shinier opportunity is just around the corner, and we have foolishly closed the door to it. Complexity, therefore, becomes our emotional sanctuary.
By saying yes to everything, by keeping all our options open, we never have to truly face the terrifying responsibility of betting on ourselves and standing by a single, focused conviction. The antidote to this pervasive fear is to adopt what Hormozi so brilliantly describes.
Through the analogy of Eastern art, you must fundamentally shift your identity.
You are not a painter, frantically adding strokes to a blank canvas, hoping one of them will be brilliant.
You are a sculptor, standing before a formless block of jade.
The masterpiece, the true, essential value of your business already exists.
Within,
your job is not to add, but to meticulously, patiently, and courageously chip away everything that is not the masterpiece.
This mental model represents a complete reversal of modern business dogma. It reframes your most important work, not as an act of addition, but as an act of purification. It demands that you see subtraction as the highest form of creation.
Excellence is not something you build by piling on more.
It is something you reveal by bravely cutting away all that is non-essential. This sculptor's paradigm is so effective
because it aligns perfectly with the unassailable physics of progress and impact. Your most precious resources, your time, your capital, and the collective brainpower of your team are undeniably finite. Imagine these resources as a single beam of light.
You have a choice. You can use a floodlight to cast a weak, diffused glow across an entire field, where everything is dimly visible, but nothing is truly clear, and no real work can be done.
Or you can focus that very same amount of energy into a single, coherent laser beam, a force so concentrated it can cut through steel.
Spreading your resources guarantees mediocrity. It ensures that you will make a negligible impact on a wide array of problems. Concentrating those same resources on one critical point of leverage is the only variable that creates the outsized, exponential, 99th percentile returns that define every true market leader. This is not an opinion. It is a law of strategic allocation. The first and most immediate beneficiary of this focused force is your own organization, your own team. As a leader, your most powerful and clarifying strategic tool is not a new idea, but the courageous use of the word no in a business with conflicting priorities. Teams are pulled in a dozen different directions, energy is squandered in pointless meetings, and a low-grade anxiety about what truly matters pervades the entire culture. Every no you utter in service of the one great idea acts like a powerful clarifying agent.
It eliminates ambiguity. It silences the internal noise. It transforms a scattered group of well-intentioned employees into a unified, energized team, aimed like an arrow at a single, unambiguous target.
This level of focus is what creates unstoppable internal momentum and a culture of purpose, giving your team the greatest gift a leader can offer: the certainty of knowing exactly what victory looks like. This internal clarity inevitably projects
outward as immense and undeniable market power.
In a world drowning in commercial noise, where every competitor is shouting a list of a dozen different value propositions, a complex business is just more noise. It is instantly forgettable. But
a business that has done the hard work of focusing on its one thing becomes a powerful, resonant signal.
think of the brands that have achieved legendary status.
They are not known for their endless variety.
They are known for their absolute mastery of one thing.
This singular, unwavering identity acts as a beacon in the marketplace. It doesn't
just attract customers who are looking for a solution.
It builds a tribe of advocates who believe in what you stand for.
You cease to be a mere provider of a service and become the undisputed master of a craft, and that is a position of unassailable strength. This entire journey, however, demands an almost spiritual level of discipline and patience. This is the
hardest part.
Hormozi calls it letting the little fires burn. Once you commit all your resources to the one big, strategic solution, what he calls the unbuilt bridge, you must find the fortitude to endure the discomfort of not solving smaller,
less important problems that are screaming for your attention.
Every day, these little fires will flare up, promising the immediate relief and satisfaction of being extinguished. Resisting this siren call is the ultimate test of strategic leadership. It is the discipline to tolerate short-term chaos and perceived imperfection for the sake of long-term transformation.
It requires an unwavering faith that by focusing all your energy on building that one great bridge, the need to constantly patch a dozen leaky boats will, in time, simply vanish. Ultimately, this philosophy of one is not a simple tactic.
It is a journey toward the very apex of strategic thought and personal mastery. Simplicity is not the starting line for the unsophisticated. On the contrary, it is the finish line, a destination reached only after wrestling profoundly with complexity and emerging on the other side with hard-won clarity.
It is the elegant, powerful solution that only reveals itself after a deep and often grueling interrogation of all the available options.
It is not about doing less work.
It is about having the wisdom and the courage to apply all of your work, all of your energy, and all of your focus to the few things that, by an immutable law of nature, create nearly all of the meaningful results. It is the final earned reward for thinking deeply, choosing bravely, and committing completely. If this deeper insight into the philosophy of focus and the discipline of simplicity resonated with you, Subscribe for more analyses that bridge the gap between strategy and mindset. We invite you to share in the comments how this principle of sculpting away the excess instead of painting on more might shift your own perspective on your goals. And to get the full, original context directly from the source, and to honor the work of the creator who inspired this discussion, make sure to watch Alex's complete video.
The link is waiting for you in the description below.